Hello everyone, this is Alan and welcome back to my channel. It's a beautiful Monday afternoon and it's a good day to dive into the texts in the book of Matthew. So let's go ahead. So, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Matthew chapter 11, verses 29 to 30. It's a really interesting verse because it says that if you are put together properly, then whatever goal that you think is too difficult for you to achieve, you can achieve it. So here the yoke is a beam that farmers use to make two ox work together to plow the field. So that yoke can be metaphorically attributed to what puts you together, right? So you can say that the yoke that in your life can be bringing together all the parts of you that are working productively and that are working counterproductively, and you bring all those parts of you, the good and the bad, together so that you can put them in line and you can achieve your goal. Because you need everything in you. If the goal that you've set out for yourself, which is presumably good for yourself and the people around you, you need everything in you to work together so that you can achieve the goal that you have drawn out for yourself. So, okay, now the yoke has been put together. You've put yourself together, and that will happen on the journey to achieve your goal. Because once you set out on the journey, you'll realize that there are parts of you that are not actually working towards your benefit, and then you can become wiser and smarter and realize every opportunity at which you realize things about yourself that are probably good and not good, and you can rectify it. That's the best part, right? So for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So once you've put yourself together, the burden that you are carrying with you is easy to carry. I think it was Nietzsche who said, he who has a why can bear anyhow. So when you put yourself together, the burdens that you are carrying become much lighter, or or let's say it becomes easier for you to carry your burdens. And well, you have to list out all the reasons why you are moving towards the goal that you have drawn out, and these reasons have to go beyond your own self-serving needs. It can be to serve the community, your family. It has to go beyond that, because the reason is people can always put off the things that they have to do for themselves, because that is one of the reasons that people procrastinate, right? So the reasons that you put out for yourself in order to discipline yourself have to go beyond you. Those reasons have to go beyond you. And then if you do that, what happens is you've got enough willpower each and every single day to get out of your bed and go about your business every single day, no matter how you feel. So it's a very different mindset and it's a very different life. It gets very interesting because it is not usually that people do this, and then you see an effect in your life, and after a period of time you are actually amazed at your own development. You see how far you've come because you did your work on the days that you didn't feel like it, and that accumulated, and something greater produced itself in front of you. So let's go ahead. Every kingdom divided against itself is laid waste, and no city or house divided against itself will stand. Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. You know, this verse is very interesting because it can be analyzed on two levels. It can be analyzed on the individual level and on the group level. In the individual level, like we just discussed, that every part of you that is aiming for your good, and the part of you that is not aiming for your good shall be put together so that they can work together to achieve the goals that you've been able to draw out for yourself. Well, How do you do it? The one of the solution was to list out enough reasons, and also you can also draw out a hell for you. So let's say, you can always imagine where you would end up if you didn't get your work done, because people don't like to think about that. So you really need to list out what kind of hell would you land yourself in if you didn't get your work done. Okay, the other solution would also be to visualize the feeling, if you can manage to get the work done that you're supposed to do. How would you feel at the end of it? Would you feel good? Would you feel bad? Would you feel that your dopamine has gone up? Would you feel like the king of the world? So you have to actually feel the feeling at the end of the you have to feel the feeling that you'd get at the end of the work that you're supposed to do, and that should provide you with enough motivation to go about your business and to confront the challenges that are in front of you. And that's so good, right? It is better than being blind. And at the group level, this verse holds true, because you need to surround yourself with people who almost have similar values to you, if not exactly the same values to you. And you know what, they can have different perspectives, but the values on which people that you surround yourself with, the values the people carry with themselves, the people that you're surrounded with, they should have similar or the same exact values as you, but they can have different perspectives though. Okay, what's the advantage of that? Okay, so some of the principles and the values that you live by, you can trust the other person because they have the same values too, so it is easy to trust the other person. Okay, so that's one of the reasons to have people with similar values to you, right? And the second is that, well, if you can trust them, you can get into a trusted business relationship with them, and you can build a kingdom, so you are not divided amongst yourselves, right? Okay, when you bring about those people in your life with the same values or similar values into your life, and if they have different perspectives, they can put forward an idea in a different way what you fail to see. So they can shed light in the darkest parts where you didn't want to look, or let's say you were not aware of the traps that you might have stepped into if they had not enlightened you with their perspective. So it is absolutely a gift to talk with people with similar values but with different perspectives. So there is this data structure that you have, and then there are gaps in between, and then some other person can come along and they'd probably help you fill in those gaps in the data structure. So you can use that data, you can use that information to make your life better, and probably you can do the same for them. So there is this mutual exchange that's going on, and then you've got a community of people working together building the kingdom instead of being divided. So everyone benefits when you start helping each other see where the other is blind, and then you got a kingdom that stands together. That is the basis of a great brotherhood, by the way. So that's that. Let's go ahead. I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account of every careless word they speak. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. Matthew chapter 12, verses 36 to 37. This is a really interesting verse too. Since our judicial system is based on this verse, by the way, because what holds true in court is the evidence of verbal communication. Okay, what do you mean by that? Let's say if there's a criminal, he would confess. If he says that he did that crime, then he is convicted. So on the basis of your word, you were convicted. But on the other side, the person who's defending himself, he'd also say words to save himself. So the words that you speak will either save you or will destroy you. So everyone will be held accountable for the words that they speak, right? So we've got to be very, very careful of the words that we utter, because words are divine in nature, because you can create things out of nothing just by using words. You can stir up feelings in people. That's why there was a great leader in all the wars. There was a great leader. He'd actually instill fear in people, or motivate them to go die in the battlefield just by using words. Imagine that. And you can literally create things out of nothing just by using your words, you know so that's what's happening. So people speak words, and we've got to be very, very careful of what we speak, because it might stir up strong feelings in the other person, because and then you don't know what the consequences of that are. So we got to be very, very reserved with the words that we utter, you know so in John chapter 1, verses 1 to 3, it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All the things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made." So the whole being, the whole universe, according to the Bible, came into being when God spoke. That's how powerful the power of our word is, right? It can create things out of nothingness. So, well, we got to be very careful of what we bring into existence by using our words, because you can always create a situation which is good, you can always create a situation that is bad. Presumably, it's good, right? So, we got to be very, very reserved with our words and speak concisely and with brevity, so that the other person can understand what we're trying to say. Because if we say the incorrect thing at a wrong time, we might be convicted for it. So that is a very interesting verse that I thought that I should share with you guys. And going ahead, either make the tree good and its fruit good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad. For the tree is known by its fruit. Matthew chapter 12, verses 33. Okay, so here, so if the tree is taken care of, it will bear good fruit. If the tree is not taken care of, it will bear bad fruit. So here, the tree is the human being himself. So what you feed yourself is what you produce. If you have surrounded yourself with negative people, what you produce will be negative, because you are the sum of all the people that you surround yourself with. So you start behaving, because human beings are great at imitation, right? So we'll start imitating the people who are around us. So if you're hanging out with people who are always talking negative, always complaining, you'll obviously pick up those behaviors, and you will exhibit those behaviors all the time too. So what you can do, if you're trying to improve yourself, is to get rid of those people who are always talking negative and are always complaining. You have no moral obligation to hang out with those people who are not aiming up. It is easier to let go of people and go about finding other people who can help you get better, and you can do the same for them. So on the other hand, if you surround yourself with positive people who are always motivating you, and you are doing the same for them, right? And let's say if you want to build a business, if you are then you got to talk with those people who know what business is, what money is, how money really works, what are the loopholes, whatever it is. If they are talking about business, you learn about business. If they are talking about making money, you'll learn about making money. That's how your mind would reconfigure itself to think. So we have to be very, very careful of the kind of people that we hang out with the type of content that we consume. One of the things that I don't like is consuming news that is useless. Something that is useless you shouldn't consume. Now how do you know that it's useless? It is not helping you to make your life better, but is instead making you too paranoid. So it is good to watch people, you could go and watch some philosophy. Or now why philosophy? Because philosophy helps you to put yourself together. It helps you think in ways that you don't usually think, and that is absolutely mind blowing how philosophy works. That's one of the reasons I love philosophy. So that's why I'm able to think in different ways that a normal human being wouldn't. So be careful of what you consume, because that would go into your system, into your brain, and that's what you put out into the world. And in the Bible, it also says that by your fruits you will be judged. So the fruit that you produce will be the consequence of what you consumed. And the fruit that you produce better be sweet. As in, it is it is far better if the fruit that you produce is beneficial to the society as a whole. And then you will have a good reputation, because you went that extra mile to feed yourself the best things, best quality stuff, best people. You surrounded yourself with the best people. You fed yourself the best content. You continually self developed. You maintained the discipline. You went forward with the highest good in your mind. And then you can be a tree which provides shadow to the needy and be the best person in the community. Well, guys, thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to the next video. All the best.